And it's a good point that cult leaders are usually quite articulate, and it's a specific type of articulate that we call trance talk. I'm Daniela, scholar of cults, extreme groups, and extremely bad leadership, and the author of Uncultured, about growing up in the Children of God religious cult and then going into the U.S. Army. And now we're talking about like Ivanka, the comment specifically saying she's not articulate enough to be a cult leader. And whether she is or not is besides the point of, let's learn about trance talk. So trance talk is specifically what these cult leaders do. And outsiders who don't pay enough attention will describe it as articulate, but it is a specific type of articulate. It is jumping from one topic to another topic, saying things that sound smart. Life is a wide open field. But is really just keeping you so distracted, trying to figure out what it all is, that you walk away going, wow, they're really smart. Okay, so funny story. I kind of did this when I was in college, 2 years out of a cult, studying literature for the first time, like learning about the world. And every once in a while, when I didn't know how to answer an essay question, I would just write 3 more paragraphs. And of course, I wasn't like 19-year-old me, like, oh, this is a cult leader tactic. I was just like, for some reason, I know that I need to write more. And part of the reason I knew that is because I grew up with these cult aunties making me like read the crap trance talk of our cult leader and then analyze it and explain what it was. And so I was pretty good at BSing like that. But anyways, fast forward to like a week ago or something, someone who was on I think it was my YouTube, was like, hey, so I tried that thing you said and it worked in my Socratic theory class, or something that was very much about like debate and dialogue. And I was just like, yep, it works if you exhaust them. And I also used to sort of teach my soldiers in the Army in a different way, because I was at one point the senior intelligence officer of the battalion. But I would teach them all the time, these are like 18-year-old kids that are having to brief colonels and generals. And so I was, big on like the way that you speak and writing good sentences, because I was like, if you can speak better than someone else or convince them with your trance talk that you do, they will convince themselves that you are smarter than they are. And while I'm here, I'll give you one more tip for free. I call it front of the room advantage. Have you ever been sitting in a crowd, like for a speaker to come on the stage, and when they're introduced with a bio they wrote themselves, by the way, are you ever sitting there thinking like, nah, that person isn't that cool? Rarely are we, right? We're like, oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow, as you hear like everything about them. Part of that is some people are really cool, usually the ones on stage, but part of that is what I call front of the room advantage, which is just we tell ourselves that because someone put them on a microphone, what they have to say is worthwhile, and like we should listen to them, right? It's a form of charismatic authority. We're listening to them because they're up there, not because we're being forced to, by force, listen to them, but we are listening to them because they're the ones on the stage. And so when you know this, you can also reverse engineer front of the room advantage. I used to teach my veterans this when I was working with veterans getting out of the military. So anyways, I just wanted to come on here and riff a little bit about trance talk. And there's a really good example of it in The Vow. Like Keith Raniere is good at it. So just watching kind of like any bit of The Vow, you'll be able to see that. And also what a like flubby, unattractive doofus dude he is. And he's still the charismatic leader. So I end with charismatic leader and charismatic. Someone who's very charismatic are not the same. Which is often why they need the skinny white woman to help them out. And I've written a great chapter on that in the book I'm writing now, The Culting of America.